Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Can you get that other mridanga? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayam Vishnupad, Paramahamsa, Parivartachai, Shtadashata Shishamad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 25, The Characteristics of King Pranjana. We're on text 44. Upagiyamana lalitam tatra tatra chagayakai Hridan Padivritash Sribir Shriddhi Nim Avishach Chuchao. How does that go, Dravida Prabhu? The last, yeah. Ra. Okay. Upagiyamana lalitam Tatra Tatra Chagayakai Kridan Padivrita Stribir Sharadinim Avishach Chuchao Upagiyamana Lalitam Tatra Tatra Chagayakai Kidan Padivrita Sribir Dinim Abhishachchuchau You like to chant? No? Okay. All right. Upagiyamanaha. Being sung about. Lalitam, very nicely. Tatra tatra, here and there. Cha, also. Gayakai, by the singers. Kridan, playing. Padivritaha, surrounded. Stribihi, by women. Shadinim, in the water of the river. Avishat, entered. Shuchao, when it was too hot. Translation. Many professional singers used to sing about the glories of King Pranjana and his glorious activities. When it was too hot in the summer, he used to enter a reservoir of water. He would surround himself with many women and enjoy their company. Purport. A living being has different activities in different stages of life. One stage is called Jagrata, or the life of awakening, and another is called Swapna, or the life of a dream. Yes. Another stage is called Susupti, or life in an unconscious state, and still another stage occurs after death. In the previous verse, the life of awakening was described. That is, the man and the woman were married and enjoyed life for 100 years. In this verse, life in the dream state is described. For the activities of Pranjana accomplished during the day were also reflected at night in the dream state. Pranjana used to live with his wife for sense enjoyment. And at night, this very sense enjoyment was appreciated in different ways. A man sleeps very soundly when he is greatly fatigued, and when a rich man is greatly fatigued, he goes to his garden house with many female friends, and there enters the water and enjoys their company. Such is the tendency of the living entity within this material world. A living entity is never satisfied with a woman unless he is trained in the system of brahmacharya. Generally, a man's tendency is to enjoy many women, and even at the very end of life, the sex impulse is so strong that even though one is very old, he still wants to enjoy the company of young girls. Thus, because of the strong sex impulse, the living entity becomes more and more involved in this material world. Om Gyanita Vedandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chukshuvamilitam Vena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam karidvachalam pangam langai te girim. Yat kripa tamaham vande shigurun diditaranam. Vancha kabirubishcha kripa sindhubevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Can I read the translation again? Many professional singers used to sing about the glories of King Pranjana and his glorious activities. When it was too hot in the summer, he used to enter a reservoir of water. He would surround himself with many women and enjoy their company. So Srila Prabhupada would tell a little story sometimes, and he'd tell the story of Akbar. One story of Akbar in which this Emperor Akbar, King Akbar, he was wondering how long does this this inclination for sexual enjoyment, how long does it last? And his minister, Birbal, or his minister, said that till the end of life. And Akbar, he was surprised. So, to the end of life? How is that? That's a long time. And his minister said, "Okay, I will show you this. I'll give you an example." So some time passed, and then this minister and Akbar, they went to visit a dying man. So he's on his deathbed. And for anybody who's visited a dying man, I mean, their body's just falling apart, and they could hardly do anything. A lot of the time, they could hardly hear, could see. Of course, it's different, or maybe some differences in some cases, but anyways, so they went to see this dying man, and they walked in, Akbar and his minister, and then they specifically the minister told Akbar to bring his young daughter. So they walked in, and this dying man, laying on the bed, he was looking at the beautiful face of young daughter, and then Akbar understood minister's point up until the last moment, up until death. So, and of course, it continues. They take another body, and then the whole thing continues. And of course, Srila Prabhupada commented on this story. He said that doesn't have to be the case. One can become advanced in Krishna consciousness and not be in that situation. And he quoted that verse. What's that verse, Srivida Prabhu? The Sanskrit. Yadavari mama cheta Krishna pada. We have the mic somewhere? Maybe you could pass it. Well, he's more. He's got it. Maybe we should. Yeah. Yes. Yamunacharya, great king, has written. Okay, so one more time. Do it a few times.
Sanskrit in English?
Whatever you like.
I'll just do the English. Yamunacharya says, ever since I've been enjoying ever new mellows by serving the lotus feet of Nandanandana, Krishna, now whenever I happen to think of my past experiences of having sex with a woman, my mouth curls in distaste and I spit at the thought.
Yeah. So, Prabhupada would quote this verse, commenting on this particular story, which is demonstrating that one can, it is possible, one can reach a state in which they're not attracted. And also one doesn't have to, it doesn't have to be like Devamrita Swami said sometimes. It's not that Krishna consciousness is like a process where you're like kind of grinding your teeth or biting your lip, trying to resist the attractions of this world. In other words, it's a process that will elevate us to a state in which we're just not at all attracted. And then sometimes people ask, well, why are we attracted? Why are we attracted to enjoyment that has nothing to do with Krishna? Or why are we trying to enjoy separately from Krishna? So Prabhupada asked his disciples this one time on a morning walk, and in Juhu he asked, why are you attracted? Why are you attracted to sex? And then the devotees could have said so many things. Oh, well, we eat too many sweets, or too much in the mode of passion, or whatever. There could be a whole list of reasons. But Prabhupada said, he asked them, and then he gave the answer. He said, you're attracted to sex because you want to be attracted. That was his answer. You want to be. So our life and our journey, towards Krishna consciousness, our journey is really, you could say, like the foundation of everything. Is what type of desires are we cultivating? And desires for enjoyment separate from Krishna, which is, say, described here in this pastime of Puranjana, these materialistic desires headed by this sexual desire. It is something that is barring one in this material world. And Prabhupada said that in the Bhagavad Gita. He said that Maitunya Agar, which is the shackles of sexual life, sexual desire, they're shackles. So therefore, we have to be the devotees, practitioners of Krishna consciousness. They have to be careful that the desires that they're cultivating are Krishna conscious, or spiritual desires. And the way we're able to cultivate the right desires, Krishna conscious desires, and specifically transcend this materialistic illusion, or this illusion, is to sadhu sangha, sadhu sangha, sarva sashta koi lava mantra, sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy. That by just a fraction, what is it, 11th of a second, something like that, we could become perfect by associating with sadhu, spiritual, saintly persons, pure devotees. So this ability to transcend is awarded to us by our, say, sincere, serious attempts to associate with sadhus, associate with saintly persons, and associate with them in a right way. It's not that you just associate, we associate, and I mean, there has to be a certain quality to that association. So specifically, we could think, in our case, we could think of Srila Prabhupada. We should think of Srila Prabhupada. In that if we want to make rapid advance in Krishna consciousness, we want to make any advancement in Krishna consciousness, we have to have Prabhupada in the center. That means Prabhupada's mood, Prabhupada's mission, his desires. So we have to be in line with that. Not that it's like we're not in line with that, or how are we supposed to make advancement. And by serving Prabhupada, by serving Prabhupada's mission, then everything is possible. Just like there's that verse in the first canto of the Bhagavatam, second chapter, text 16. A lot of the time I don't remember the actual verses, but somehow I remember this one. I think it's right. 1:2:16. It says, "Shu shu sho shodadana sya vasudeva kata ruchi syan mahatseva vipa punyatirtana shevana." So it says, by serving great souls who are free from vice, great service is done, and one attains a taste for hearing the messages of Krishna. So then Prabhupada he explains in that purport. He says that devotees of Krishna, this particular purport's talking about pure devotees of Krishna, they have a certain quality to them. They have certain characteristics. And one of the main characteristics, Prabhupada's explaining that purport, is this great taste, this great attraction, supreme attraction for Krishna. So hearing about Krishna, chanting about Krishna, just the whole Krishna consciousness, they have so much attraction to, supreme attraction. And as we were hearing the other day, it's just like a fish. A fish has to have water. So similarly, a devotee has to have Krishna. They have to be engaged in Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada explains in that purport that if we serve such personalities, then we get the qualities of those personalities. So if we serve Srila Prabhupada, his followers as well, Prabhupada and his followers go together, by the way. If we serve Prabhupada and his followers, then we will be able to attain that state, that great taste for Krishna consciousness. And that is, you could say, our great fortune, if we take that. And I mean, Srila Prabhupada is so wonderfully, he has so wonderfully arranged things perfectly. Everything's been perfectly arranged. If we want to be Krishna conscious, everything's been perfectly arranged for us. There's nothing lacking. And we should always remember that Prabhupada is the foremost preacher of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. I mean, there are many devotees throughout the world, and they're all engaged in there's many preachers throughout the world. Thank Krishna. Many book distributors, many devotees who are giving talks, many devotees on YouTube, Facebook. They're really utilizing all of these platforms, and it's good. And they may become very popular. There were 2 million, 2.5 million views on some of their videos, or kirtan, this and that, which is all good. I mean, Prabhupada's but the thing that they have to remember, and that everybody has to remember, is that Prabhupada is the foremost preacher of the Krishna conscious movement, and he always will be. He should be in the front, and he should be He is the most famous, and that's whose glories we should be trying to spread throughout the three worlds, as that verse said, that Guru Puja says, may his glories be proclaimed throughout the three worlds. So that is our interest, to spread Prabhupada's glories throughout the three worlds. I guess we could start with SanDiego, start with Pacific Beach, but and that will be that doing that. That's actually our responsibility. That's our duty. And if we do that, then we're taken care of. There's also the example of the young boy who was who became Narada Muni. I don't think no name is given in the Bhagavatam, is it? Son of a maidservant. Yeah, there's no son of a maidservant. So very simple, humble, sincere boy, and his mother was also same quality, and simple, humble woman, and she would host these Bhaktivedantas, these great devotees. And they're in the month of Chaturmasya, when there's a 4-month period where traditionally in India preachers wouldn't travel. They were just she was hosted in there, and she said, and it's explained in the Bhagavatam. It's amazing, actually. It's an amazing section in the Bhagavatam. Whole Bhagavatam is amazing, but that this boy, he would serve these Bhaktivedantas. He would wash their clothes, hang their clothes, dry their clothes, fold their clothes, all these. Wouldn't lose their clothes. Sometimes the traveling preachers have a hard time, devotees losing their socks and their, dhotis and curtains. So he would very nicely take care of everything, and then he would serve them prasadam. Is that he would take the remnants, he would hear from them, ask permission to take those remnants, and it's said by doing this he actually developed extreme. He became really advanced. So advanced to the level his mother passed away. She got bitten by a snake, and then he left. And they said that Krishna appeared to him. He became so. It's really advanced. And then the next life he became Narada Muni. So again, it seems like the other day we were talking about Vamanadev, and a lot of the times people think, oh, such a cute story, and Vamanadev, and oh, he covered the whole universe, and but cute, little Brahmin boy, and you could say maybe that's some type of level of appreciation, but the pastimes within the Bhagavatam, they're meant to give us examples of what to follow. So we should follow this, son of a maidservant became Narada Muni. Such a great example. And in this way, we're able to not be in a state of illusion, just like this dying man, in the bed, looking at the face of a young woman. Why? What business? He's dying. He should be focusing on Krishna. He should be focused on his Krishna consciousness, but he's still. These material desires, right? Rishabhadeva says, Paravabhas Bodhajata. He says that these desires, karmatmika, says the mind colored with fruit of activity. This is what leads one into another material body. We're able to become free from all this by association, by service to Srila Prabhupada and his followers. And it is this illusory state of existence is actually described to be like a dream state. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, right, he has that song, Jeev Jago, go to Chandrabola. You're sleeping in the lap of the witch named Maya. So how long will you sleep there? Please, get up. So, so this getting up, I mean, of course, I'm sure we've all heard many times, but while you're sleeping, I mean, I suspect everybody here, usually, they use alarm. If they don't use alarm, then a lot of times they don't get up. Some devotees I've known, they just somehow or other naturally get up and they don't need alarms. But a lot of people need alarms. And so much of the senses are just not working, practically, in a sleeping state. But the ears, even while one is taking rest, so, hey, wake up, there's an alarm, or there's a fire, then one will rise, right? So the process of chanting Hare Krishna, of hearing about Krishna, of all these different processes, they actually we wake up. So, and also in the Bhagavatam, in relation to dreaming, there's a verse in the Bhagavatam that's quoted 5 times. Now, I don't know if there's any other verse in the Bhagavatam that's quoted 5 times. Is that the only one? Oh, wow. Okay. So if something's quoted 5 times, it means it's very important. And I don't think that in every one of these verses there's a separate purport, but there's a purport for this verse, right? Okay. Is there any way you could file that up? Look that up? Yeah, that verse and purport. So it's saying that part of this verse that we'll hear is saying that the dream of material existence means the suffering and the illusion and the bewilderment and all these different things, they continue. And it says they continue as long as one is meditating on sense enjoyment, sense gratification. That's how long they continue. So when one stops meditating, and to the degree one stops meditating, the degree it stops. Yes.
I don't know which verse you're going on.
How long is it per?
This is short. This one is from the 11th canon. But
right.
11:22:56. Arte yavidyamane pi samstuti nanivartate dhyayato vishayanasya swapne nartagamoyata. For one who is meditating on sense gratification, material life, although lacking factual existence, does not go away, just as the unpleasant experiences in a nightmare do not go away. Shall I read this little purport? One may object that if Lord Krishna insists that material life is false, then why should one endeavor to stop it? The Lord therefore explains here that although not factual, material life stubbornly continues for one addicted to sense gratification, just as a frightening dream continues for one merged in sleep. The word avidyamana, not existing, means that material life is based on mental concoction in which one thinks, I am a man, I am a woman, I am a doctor, I am a senator, I am a street sweeper, and so on. A conditioned soul enthusiastically performs his activities based on the imaginary identification with the body. Thus, although the spirit soul exists and the body exists, the false identification with the body does not exist. Material life based on a false idea has no factual existence. After one awakens from a dream, the dim reflection of the dream may linger in one's memory. Similarly, one engaging in the devotional service of the Lord may be troubled sometimes by the dim reflection of sinful life. One should therefore become strong in Krishna consciousness by hearing the Lord's instructions to Sri Uddhava.
He's one in the verse in the 11.
11:20. This one of the 5 is 11:22:56.
11:22:56. Srimadbhagavatam 11:22:56. So okay, well, yeah, amazing verse, amazing purport. The people say, oh well, that's kind of stop meditating on sense gratification. Why, give this up, give so many things up. But yeah, Krishna is saying that to do that, but then he's given a process. Okay, this is how you do it. He's not just saying, okay, give it up, but you're just gonna have to suffer. But he says there's a process. So param drishtva navarti, get a higher taste. We get a higher taste, and then all the other. Then it's that's you could say the key. That's the goal. I mean, that's the way, in order to not could say be conditioned to meditate on unnecessary things. All right. So does anybody have any questions or comments? Okay.
Just, you were talking about the potency of devotional service, and you gave the example of a simple boy, Narada Muni. It works. We used to have that painting party, it was a business, and we were in Kota Kinabalu, which is on in Malaysia, and we rented a house. And Aniruddha, Vaikuntha, you can confirm with Vaikuntha, Aniruddha, Vaikuntha, and me, one other devotee, I can't remember. Anyway, and turns out in the house, we were in the back. It was over the garage and there was a young boy, maybe 8 years old, and he was curious about us, and chanting, So he would hang around. So we had him start helping us do stuff, and he would come, and he was a school kid. He wasn't a poor kid. He was a nice family and this and that. And he would come every evening, and he would listen to Bhagavad Gita class. He would take prasadam. He would wash the dishes. We would send him on errands to the grocery store. He became like a buddy, and he was only 8 years old, and we were there for about maybe 3 weeks. Not that long, 3 weeks. And then when we left, I remembered, and all of us remember, because he was, you could tell he was a devotee. He just took to everything, to chanting japa, the whole thing. And I remember we were driving to the airport. As we pulled out of the driveway, he was standing there crying. Because, there was no temple, there was nothing, And, we said, we'll stay in touch, and, but, and 8-year-old boy crying as the devotees were leaving. We were thinking, geez, throw this kid in the trunk, take him home, And about 10 years later, I was in Mayapur, and this very blissful brahmachari came up to me, offered his obeisances, and said, do you remember me? And I said, to tell you the truth, I don't have a clue. And it was this devotee, and his name is Singashwara, and he is now the regional supervisor for all of Malaysia. There's about 13, 14 nice temples in Malaysia. They have big Rath. It's a very powerful yatra, and he's in charge, Shingaswar.
Yes.
And it was just like that.
How come we haven't heard that one before? That's a great story.
Yeah. Hmm. Close. What? So is Singashwar still? Nice. Yeah, great. Yeah, these are all these. Like Maharaj just told us this nice, true story, inspiring. These are nice things to try to remember, so we could. Because part of the process of hearing, like we hear, like this was a great story we just heard, true story. So part of the process is hearing, right? Shravanam and then kirtanam. So to hear and then to chant. So these things that we hear, we could remember them. And then when we meet with devotees, when we meet with people, we could kind of store them and then engage them. Because, they're inspiring. It's inspiring information. Not that we just hear them and then if we don't store them, then it's good. It's nice for us, but we should also give, That's an important part. Actually, that completes the process. Shravanam Kirtan, to hear and then to speak. That's what Prabhupada wanted. And actually, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said that he was, he actually left this world. He was like it was quite young, 63 years old, I think. And it's understood from his disciples, from Srila Prabhupada, he said that he was actually very displeased and disgusted with some of his disciples in their mood and their behavior and their material aspirations. He was not pleased with them, some of them. And he said that his life, he even said his life was cut like 10 years because he left. I'm reading the Bhakti Vikas Swami's book, the Sai Baba book, amazing. But one of his main, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's main, concerns or frustration was that he had so many disciples, and he said so many of the disciples were not you could say like preaching or interested in preaching. He said they were neophytes, and he said that they were fit to Kanishta they were fit to engage in archan but not in preaching, and they didn't have interest in it. So he said that actually pained him quite a lot. So yeah, this Prabhupada wanted Shravanam and then Kirtanam, to hear and then to speak, become interested in doing that. Anyways, Mohan Vilas Prabhu, he contacted me. He's there in Hawaii, and he asked me to give a talk there, Wednesday night talk. So I gave a talk, and nice to, but my godbrother's there, Balabhadra too, Prabhu. And so I gave a talk, and then I was talking, and then I said, okay, well, I got this interesting story for you. Ready to hear it? Yeah, sure. And I started to tell this story, and it was a story of, you said about the devotee who was a burglar, and he got the Bhagavad Gita, and those things. So then, I think, I asked, or I could sense that maybe they heard it, or and I said, oh, have you, heard this? Yeah, we heard it. We heard it last week, from Bhajan Swami, so. No, that's okay. So anyway, but no, he was first. He was first, and then so then I said, okay, and then so I said, should I continue? Or they said, yeah, continue, finish it. I said, okay. And I said, yeah, well, these things are ever fresh, Krishna, right? Chanting Hare Krishna, the different things. So I told the story. I said, all right, well, here, I'll tell one maybe you didn't hear. So then I told one, and they didn't hear that one. So that's kind of funny. So. All right. Does anybody have any another comment or question?
Thank you, Balaram.
You're welcome.
You quoted the Akbar minister, old man, daughter story. Jananiwas Prabhu told me when he was in Srila Prabhupada's room in Mayapur, and there was some guest there, an elderly gentleman, and Prabhupada was doing something kind of preoccupied on his desk, and the man was talking, and he was making the point that, it's so nice when you get old, the sex desire goes away. And
the man was making the point.
Yeah, the man was talking, Prabhupada, and Prabhupada stopped what he's doing, and and this is an imitation of Srila Prabhupada, but he said, no, never. So old age isn't the prerequisite for becoming free from lust.
Yeah.
And probably everybody knows it, but you didn't say the one point about the son of the Shudrani. He was 5 years old when his mother passed away, and he went wandering the entire world, following the instructions of the great sages, the Bhaktivedantas, and he had darshan of the Lord before leaving his body.
Yeah.
And became Narada Muni.
So, so many inspiring, this boy, son of a Shudrani maidservant, very inspiring story, very inspiring pastime account in the Bhagavatam. And you have that, you have Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, so many young boy inspirations. There's all right, any last okay. All right, Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.